Hi, welcome to Miss Richardson's U.S. History 5-Minute Lectures. This information will be U.S. Notes 1.5, Working Issues and Conditions in the Progressive Era. It includes information that's aligned with the first section of your study guide. Remember that you control the notes. Pause the video if you need, write down any questions you have and bring them to me in class, and rewatch it as often as you need to. And of course, use your study guide to help you take notes. So let's go ahead and get started. In the last set of notes, I talked to you about who the workers were. Today I want to talk to you about the issues and conditions these workers faced, the reasons that the progressives and their changes were really needed. First, let's just talk about some general conditions in factories and other workplaces during the Gilded Age and Progressive Era. There were very few laws and regulations about safety during the time period, and even fewer inspectors to enforce the laws that did exist. This made the workplaces very dangerous for all workers. Under scientific management, or Taylorism, owners wanted to profit as much as possible. They were looking for efficiency, which often meant ignoring safety concerns. Workers would get few breaks, if any, and would work incredibly long hours. These long hours of very monotonous work led to more dangerous conditions. Workers would get tired or bored and not pay attention. They were also trying to meet the demands of production. Faster, faster, more, which led to carelessness. This carelessness resulted in some very severe accidents in the workplaces. Sometimes it wasn't carelessness, but simply unsafe machinery or poorly maintained work environments that led to these accidents. Children were one group that were often victims of these accidents, in both factories and in mines. Their small stature allowed them to access areas that were difficult for adults, and the low pay made them attractive to owners. These children were expected to do adult jobs in very dangerous conditions. In factories, when machinery was broken or jammed, children were often sent into the large machines to fix the problem, because they were able to fit into tight spaces. This could lead to severe injuries and even death if precautions were not taken, and they often were not taken. This is actually one area where most Americans felt that there needed to be changes. It actually was one of the areas that spearheaded the reform movement. Another issue that often arose between workers and owners was wages. Due to high costs of living in cities, a working husband could not financially support his wife and family in many instances. In the Progressive era, most men did not want their wives to work. So this could lead to marital strife or problems within the marriage. And even if the wife or children did work, they were paid less money for the same jobs and hours. There was no equality of pay or even expectation of it during this time period. That comes along in about 60 years. And even today, equal pay is between women and men is still not quite a reality. So when anyone, male or female, would ask for more pay, owners would fire them and replace them with cheaper, meeker workers. The same thing happened if a worker was hurt or got sick. Even if you were hurt at work, the owner could replace you because he wanted someone to do the job. An injured worker was no good to him, and due to the unskilled nature of the job, it was really easy to find a replacement. So if you didn't show up for work or were late, you'd get fired. Hurt on the job, fired. Wanted better pay, fired. Wanted safer working conditions, fired. So you can see you're fired. You can see that this is not fair to the workers and something needed to change. We'll learn about one way of getting these changes in our next set of notes. Ooh, yes, I'm leaving you with a cliffhanger. We'll talk about those next. We'll also look at some excerpts of The Jungle in class that tells the story of an immigrant family from Lithuania who moved to Chicago and get jobs in the packing industry. So we'll talk more about Upton Sinclair later. He's trying to bring attention to the issues of immigrants and workers at the time, and it really focuses on a lot of the reasons we needed the reform. So this is the end of US Notes 1.5. Hopefully you learned something in the 5-minute lecture, and I will see you in class.